So I am so excited, and have the pleasure of being able to have a few moments of your time, Mr. Vick Tipnes. And I am so excited for the things that you do and all the inspiration that you post online and the social media. So I just had a couple quick questions, right? So my first question to you is, what motivates you to get out of bed every day?
Well, thank you for inviting me on, and so I appreciate it. Appreciate all the support you give my content. What gets me out of bed? It's partly duty, it's partly necessity level. A few years ago I was completely broke, and it was no fun being broke. And so I found myself in a situation that I didn't really like, and I promised myself that I would not put myself back in that position again,
Mm-hmm.
So for me, duty is a big part of that. I feel like I have a certain level of ability because I have a certain level of ability, I feel like I have an obligation or a duty to make sure that I can go out there and make my company better and provide better things for my employees and for other people, etc. So I think it's a sense of duty to not let it go to waste.
Yeah. Okay, absolutely. I love that. Second question is, what gives you the most satisfaction about what you do?
I love helping people. I mean, we're a national sleep testing company, so we help patients get a test in the comfort of their own home versus them having to go to a hospital or a sleep lab, which is a significant cost savings to the patient, as well as it's a better access issue for the patients as well. So, you know, being able to provide that level of service is really key, and that really makes me happy that we can actually do that. And that was your question, right? Was what makes me?
Yes. What brings you the most satisfaction?
Yeah, that and I think just seeing something grow. I think it's really great to see something that came from nothing grow as big as it's grown, and I didn't think that it would get to this level as quickly as it got to, but that's very satisfying for sure.
Absolutely. I know that feeling. So number 3, how do you balance work with like family life and your friends and personal life?
I don't think there's a thing as balance. I think you just got to fit it all in. I think someone trying to balance something doesn't really work. I think you have to put attention on all the things that are important to you, and you got to make those things grow. And some days it may be more heavily weighed to one thing than something else. Maybe it may be a personal relationship or maybe something else, but the whole balance thing, it's a myth. It's really crap. It doesn't exist, and people struggle with it. Like, oh, my life's not balanced. It's never going to be balanced.
Yeah, I was gonna say they say that all the time to me. They're like, "Oh, you have to run over here and do over there and make sure you have all bases covered." And there really is. It's whatever has the most important thing at that moment.
Yeah.
So I just moment by moment. So I totally understand.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that is the way it is,
Yeah. Yep. So number 4, why are you focused on building a brand on social media when your business is already nationwide and so successful?
I think we're in an era where I think you have to. I think building a brand online on social media is as important as having a resume. People, particularly as an entrepreneur, people don't want to follow your company.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You need a spokesperson, and that could be one facet. The other facet could also be, okay, do you have a message? Do you have something to say? The internet is flooded with a bunch of just crap, things that aren't of any value, don't help anyone. And so if you have the ability to send a message that is going to help somebody else, then I think you have a duty to do that.
Absolutely.
Part of the branding is that. I mean, helping somebody else that may be in a similar business situation, similar personal situation, get out of it because you provided, a 2 to 5 minute video on a situation that you went through, is huge. It's gigantic. So I don't think you can undervalue that. Number one. Number two is, I get an opportunity a day from somebody because they see the brand and they're like, oh, okay, I this is somebody that I could work with or whatever. And so if you didn't have that branding, would you get those opportunities? Probably not.
Right.
We attract a lot of employees into our company because of the branding that I do and we do as a company, personally and business-wise. And so all of those things matter. I mean, they really, really, really matter.
Yeah, absolutely agree. This is how we met. So absolutely agree. What does 10 years in the future look like for you?
10 years in the future, what does it 10 years in the future look like to me? Well, I guess, it's a good question. I'm kind of chasing myself. Person I am going to be 10 years from now. I think it's going to be wonderful. I think it'll be bigger. I think that my goal is to have a $1 billion company by the time I'm 48. I'm 41 now. So my plan is $1 billion by the time I'm 50. And, I envision opening up schools and doing things in certain areas, if not in the U.S., outside of the country, because I think there's a huge learning problem in society.
Yeah.
And so I'm interested in that, and interested in giving back as much as I can. Probably will do a lot more public speaking later on. Yeah, that's kind of what I see.
I love it. Big goals, big aspirations. I love it. So when did you consider yourself, like in your mind, in your eyes, now I'm a success?
To be honest, I never really look at that. I don't really consider myself successful in the sense of where I feel like I will be. Obviously, I've obtained a certain level of success, but success for me was, being able to go somewhere and buy dinner and not have to worry about paying for it. When you've been in that sort of financial situation where buying something was an issue, I didn't like that. So I've, now gotten myself to a point where if I want to buy something, I can buy something, and I don't think twice about it. But
right.
I still. So I guess I feel like I've reached a certain level of success with that. But in terms of where I want to be and where I know I should be, I still have some ways to go.
All right. I love that. I completely get it. I understand. I think at some point as an entrepreneur, we all have had that happen where you were concerned about what the price dollars were on a menu, or whether you were able to go out and pursue other things or further things besides just, that's what drove us to be entrepreneurs. So,
right. Yeah, exactly.
So tell me a couple of your success habits.
A couple of success habits. I think setting big goals is a good habit to have. You got to have some goals, and they got to be a little bit unreachable, but somewhat obtainable, right? And I feel, and reading a lot is a good habit to have. Another great habit that I feel I've really honed in on more is just paying more attention to facts and paying less attention to people's opinions and things. Don't believe everything you read. You got to be really careful. You got to be smart enough to know what is real and what's not real. And I think that's a successful action that people can implement into their daily lives, because there's a lot of data out there in the universe, and you can see it on social media. You hear it from your friends and your family, blah blah blah. And unfortunately, there's a lot of false data out there about business, about relationships, about life. There's just a ton of it. And I feel like you have to be more of and this is again a habit, you have to be more selective in what data you take in, because you're operating off of data, right? In your day-to-day life, you're going to make a decision based off data that you have or an experience that you had. Mm-hmm. The experience may be different from this new experience, right? From a past experience. But if you're operating off of the wrong data in business, you're screwed.
Yep.
You're screwed.
Yep.
Just be done.
Oh man, it's so awesome, to be able to communicate with you, a person who is on such a high level, a level that I'm aspiring to as a somewhat baby entrepreneur in my industries now. Yeah. And to be able to communicate on like minds, because something I often bring up as my content is what you think is what you are. And, my hardest challenges that I have most of the time is knowing the ability and capabilities of a person and an individual, but them not realizing it themselves, if that makes sense. Right. And that's due to, I say are the raise above the limitations that you have. And that often all of that is due to the bad data that's out there and that's being fed to them on a daily basis. So.
Yeah, most people aren't even aware of it. They don't even know that they're operating with the wrong information.
Yeah.
And they're making business decisions based off of the wrong data. They're making financial decisions based off the wrong data, and they never question it. And I think you have to have the question the data that you have.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I thank you so much for all of your time, Mr. Vick Tipnes. I appreciate all the information that you've given us, and I look forward to doing more interviews with you in the future. So,
thank you. You're very welcome. Thanks for having me on. I really, really appreciate it.
Thanks.